You eventually hit a point where relying on natural ability and simply doing your best leads to a dead end. You plateau and watch people with half your talent sprint right past you. Getting through that barrier requires something that shatters the polite rules of performance. Enter trainer Tim S. Grover. His philosophy completely ignores the usual corporate advice about finding your passion. He deals exclusively in raw animal instinct. He engineered the mindsets of absolute legends. Look at this image of Kobe Bryant. That unpolished primal aggression is exactly what Grover cultivated in him, Michael Jordan, and Dwyane Wade. Achieving the impossible demands that you throw away societal expectations and completely rewire your brain to refuse limitations. Performers fall into a strict psychological hierarchy. At the base are coolers, who take whatever situation is handed to them. Next are closers. They deliver wins in high-pressure situations, but once they do, they take the credit and go home. At the absolute peak are the cleaners. They never wait for an opportunity to be handed to them. They maneuver everyone else into position to create it. And the minute they secure a victory, they are immediately hungry for the next one. Graduating from a closer to a cleaner requires more than a simple mental adjustment. It's a psychological overhaul. To reach that peak, we have to look at how a cleaner actually operates. Cleaners do not actually compete with other people. They enter an emotionless space, the zone, where they shut out the noise, locate an opponent's specific weakness, and attack it. They fuel this focus using their dark side. Polite, socially acceptable motivations rarely provide enough energy for extreme endurance. Cleaners draw power from unpolished drives, anger, past rejections, or the obsessive need to prove a doubter wrong. Consider Dwyane Wade during the 2012 NBA Finals. Facing elimination, his performance was suffering. He had spent so much time sharing the spotlight with LeBron James and Chris Bosh, trying to be a good teammate, that he lost his own killer identity on the court. Before Game 5, Grover handed him a note. Look at this text from his book. It reads, "In order to have what you really want, you must first be who you really are." Wade stopped trying to keep everyone else happy. He unleashed a 48-minute blast of controlled rage, dominated the game, and secured his second championship ring shown here in the celebration. Stop trying to sanitize your ambition. If a bitter rivalry or a fear of failure makes you work harder than anything else, use it. Let your rawest drives dictate your actions. Real power stems from absolute, unapologetic self-knowledge. People love to talk about a clutch gene, a mystical ability to step up at the last second. Cleaners actually signed that label insulting. If you are only stepping up for the big games, where were you for all the others? For an average performer, pressure is an external event that happens occasionally. But for a cleaner, every single moment is a high-pressure situation. Their reputation is constantly on the line. Grover points to a military marksman who isolates himself in the mountains. He spends his days executing one highly specific shot over and over, completely alone. When the military needs someone to hit that exact target, they call him. They don't call him because he has a natural gift. They rely on him because of that intense, unglamorous, unseen preparation. Tackle the hardest, most grueling tasks on your list first. Treat your private practice sessions with the exact same intensity and focus as your public performances. External pressure cannot break a cleaner because they intentionally generate an internal pressure that far exceeds anything the outside world could ever apply. Sustaining dominance requires a very specific trigger. You have to find an extra gear right at the exact moment everyone else decides they have had enough. It also requires deleting the word try from your vocabulary. Trying is an open invitation to failure. It is a built-in excuse that allows you to lose without taking the blame. Look at this shot of a young Michael Jordan at North Carolina. Despite his flashy highlight reels later in life, his greatness was built on a grueling commitment to basic fundamentals. He relentlessly executed the exact same shots thousands of times. And when that level of execution pays off, cleaners refuse to throw a party. The minute their mind thinks done, their instincts immediately demand next. Give yourself exactly one brief solitary moment to acknowledge a victory. Recognize the accomplishment, and then immediately wipe the slate clean for the next objective. They are so completely addicted to the end result that they become entirely immune to the fatigue of the grueling work it takes to get there. The reality of this lifestyle is not glamorous. Becoming unstoppable requires a distinct willingness to be lonely, misunderstood, and intensely uncomfortable. It demands a rigid hierarchy where your mind exerts total control over your body. When your muscles are depleted and screaming at you to stop, you flatly ignore them and force them to do the work anyway. True success has nothing to do with passion or natural gifts. It comes down to demanding a level of exertion from yourself that no one else would ever dare demand of you. You have to harness your dark side, thrive in a constant state of internal pressure, and completely reject the concept of good enough. Because to be truly relentless means realizing that reaching your absolute personal best is merely the starting line for tomorrow.